Hi, I'm Sandy Ray, founder of Sandra E. Ray CPA, where we alleviate financial headaches so that you can create a bigger impact. Today, I want to talk to you about choosing the right bank for your nonprofit organization. We want to look at banks that provide financial stability for our organization and credibility for our nonprofit. There are several factors to consider, like fees, the convenience, the customer service, their reputation, and any other specific needs that we might have. To get all of this, we just need to ask the right questions. Let's jump into the questions to ask. The first question I have is, how does the bank define a nonprofit? Different banks define nonprofits differently, so you're going to want to check out what the bank definition is to make sure that you qualify, because many banks have special programs for nonprofits and we want to make sure that you get access to those programs. Special programs that banks can offer can be, they can waive the fees for your organization. You might have lower minimum required balance thresholds, lower loan interest rates. Some banks even have some grant and fundraising tools that you can access. So you want to compare all of these offerings to find the best deal for your organization. Another question that you want to ask is, how does the bank support the nonprofit community? Do they provide charitable donations? Do they partner with nonprofits? And what is their community engagement? What financial products do they have that are tailored to nonprofit organizations? And what is their corporate social responsibility policy or programs? You want to make sure that they align with yours, and if don't exactly align, at least don't conflict with your organization's mission. Does the bank have experience in working with nonprofit organizations? As you know, we're a little different. So experience in the nonprofit sector for a banker is very important. They can provide tailored services to our organizations, and again, some tailored programs, maybe reduced fees, maybe they have a corporate giving program or a matching program. There's all kinds of things that banks can do to help our organization. You want to know how the bank handles social and environmental issues. Again, you want to choose a bank that aligns with your organization, at least does not conflict with your mission. Does the bank offer specialized products and services? Now, this is important. For smaller organizations just getting started, maybe you want the bill pay through the bank or direct deposit for employees' paychecks or their reimbursements. Do they offer what I call a positive pay? It's something that a bank here where I live and work uses. It's basically pre-authorized vendor disbursements. Either the vendor is pre-authorized, so if you have, for example, a utility payment, you can say that the vendor for this utility is authorized and to let those transactions go through. Or maybe you upload a list of checks that you've written, and if somebody tries to present a check that has not been uploaded or doesn't match to anything in their system, you'll get notification from the bank that somebody's trying to process a check, and you have the ability to go in and say yes, pay it, or no, don't pay it. What kind of credit card programs do they offer? Do they have benefits for charities in their credit card program? Or will they offer your organization a bigger rewards payback? Another question you want to ask is about, how do they handle transparency and accountability, not only within their system, but for maybe we have multiple users with different levels of security. A board member who's just monitoring the bank balance doesn't need full access to everything. A bookkeeper may need to review transactions or download the bank statements, but again, not full access. An authorized signatory may need access to initiate transfers or ACHs, and can those be different people? So you want to make sure that they have the ability to do that for you. How does the bank support the growth and sustainability of nonprofits. And that comes down to what kind of programs do they have? Will they process loans or line of credit for you? What is their process and what's required? Do they offer a credit card for nonprofits with some additional benefits? And what's the process for applying for it? Many banks require a personal guarantee on credit cards. So what happens when that person, whether it be a board member or an executive director, changes? What's the process? Do we have to cancel all the cards and get new cards? Do they have a personal banker to answer your questions and provide customer support throughout your banking relationship? It's much easier to go have one person to go to and say, hey, the person in the treasurer position is changing. We need to remove them from online access and put this new person in. Another question is to ask the bank for the bank's process of opening new accounts. This can be very cumbersome. So for not only for opening the initial account, but maybe you want to open additional accounts later. Generally, the things that we're going to need are articles of incorporation, your tax exempt status, board member information, a corporate resolution, seeing who the authorized signatories are. Those are the kinds of things that are generally needed. You want to make sure that the process is straightforward and that the bank is providing you adequate support. And you want to ask the question as to what happens when a board member changes or roles shift. And maybe even we have a new authorized signatory and we want to remove one person and add another. You want to make sure that you understand that process because that can be quite cumbersome. The other thing that you might want to know is where the branches, if we've got a change like that, if you've got board members all over the country, you want to make sure that they have branches in those states because many times getting a treasurer authorized as a signatory requires that person to present themselves at a branch with their ID to become an authorized signatory. So you want to make sure that that they have branches that are convenient to all of the members of the board and the management team, whoever needs access. Another thing you want to ask is, do they offer online and mobile banking? Obviously, we're going to need online banking for many different reasons, especially like when we talked about before with the different security levels for different people. But mobile banking and ATMs, do they offer that? Do they have a deposit scanner maybe that you could bring to your office? I've got clients with deposit scanners. It makes it very convenient, saves time. You scan the checks yourself, it goes directly to the bank, it's automatically deposited, and you get the images of those checks immediately. And like I said, there's no trips to the bank at that point. It's very easy. Another question to ask is, how do they do customer support? Is it an 800 number that you have to call? Is it an online chat bot? Or do you have a personal banker? What's the way that you like to work best? And do they provide multiple options for you? Okay, does the bank have branches or ATMs that are convenient for your organization? Again, talking about that board member who may be out of state. But also with the ATMs, are we going to allow for cash withdrawals and are they limited? So you just want to make sure that there's convenience for your organization, that maybe if they do require a personal visit or that there is a brick and mortar that you can go to if it's required. If you've got a completely online bank, then obviously you don't need that, but those are things to consider. And then finally, what are the requirements for maintaining a business bank account with that bank? You need to understand requirements such as a minimum balance threshold. Does the savings account have a number of transaction limit? What are the monthly banking fees? Are there other compliance type issues that you'll have to comply with? And are there any regulatory compliance within your state that you're going to have to comply with? So That's 13 some questions to ask when you're interviewing a bank. That's quite a lot, but I understand that. But we need to understand and consider when we're comparing these banks, what are their fees? What's their customer service like? How well do they fit with the needs of our organization? What is the bank's reputation and its community impact? And is it consistent with your organization? Make sure that the process is convenient, yet supports our internal controls. So yes, an ATM and a cash withdrawal is very convenient. Do the internal controls for our organization allow for such a thing? And if so, what are the dollar limits? A careful evaluation and comparison of the different banks can lead you to a solid and sustainable relationship with a bank and financial stability for your organization. If you have any questions on this or other topics, please leave that in the comment section below. I always appreciate your likes, and I want to thank you for joining me today. Remember, creating a bigger impact starts with stopping the nonsense. If you're dealing with nonsense in your nonprofit organization, I'd love to help you cut through the noise.